I was done recording this video and then it had no audio and I was very mad. So now I gotta redo it all over again. So here we go. Hello, hi. Sakuyamon, BT17, we get new support. And is it good enough to make it good? Or good in general? Let's get into it. You already know Viximon is going to be played because the Sakuyamon line is focused more on playing option cards, specifically plugins. So when you do play a plugin, it allows you to draw, which is great because now it helps you go through your deck quicker, which you need. This deck isn't as fast, but the new Renamon actually helps make it faster. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with Kyubimon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon in its name, and 1 Rika, or 1 option card with the cost of 2 or more among them to the hand, turn the rest to the bottom. The inherit effect, when you would use an option card with the cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -1 until the end of their turn. I love this Renamon because now it gives you kind of more of a choice. If you already have Rika, and if you play the Renamon, now you can get plugin cards. Vice versa too, if you already have plugin cards, then you can get Rikas. Most importantly, you can get Digimon to, you know, set yourself up. I would say this is the best Renamon to run now, just not the security effect. The security effect is okay. The inherit effect is okay. And because there's a lot of DNA, and there's a lot of, you know, blast DNA, that the security attack -1 goes away. So it's not as good as you might think it is. The EX4 Renamon comes down to second one that you should run. We're running 4 of. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, so you dig deeper as opposed to 3. You add 1 card with Kyubimon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon, and 1 Rika. So you will bottom deck plug-in cards. The inherit, if you use an option card with the cost of 2 or more, gain 1 memory, which can come up, especially with the new Sakuyamon allowing you to digivolve on top of the Maid mode finally for 1. So it could work. It's not, you know, the best thing in the world. Renamon from BT10, we're only playing 11 rookies to make space for other cards, which we'll talk about as we go down the line. On play, reveal 4 cards, add 1 option card with plugin in its name and 1 yellow Tamer among them to the hand. And then the inherit, your turn once per turn. When you use an option card with a play cost of 2 or more, or a cost of 2 or more, I'm sorry, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -2000 DP for the turn. Another thing that this deck does really well is kind of give DP reduction, but the downside is that you have to use plugin cards in order to trigger those, you know, effects. Let's talk about the new Kyubimon. The new Kyubimon has a when digivolving, if you don't have a Rika in play, play it. The inherit, same thing as the new Renamon. Give one of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1 when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more. 2 of the BT10 Kyubimon, it allows you to recycle when you digivolve an option card with plugin in its name from your trash to the hand, or you can trash 1 option card with plugin from your hand and draw 2. I'm only running 2 because there's no inherit, and then if you need to drop a champion, it's a play cost of 6, so it's really hefty. So it's kind of good and bad. It's not all good. 1 of the EX2 Kyubimon, this one when you digivolve, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 option card with plugin in its name among them to your hand, and then, you know, place the rest in the bottom. I don't like this because then it's a mandatory effect. So you're gonna bottom deck Sakuyamons, Rikas, cards that you need besides plugin cards. So I only run 1 just because I already have all the pieces I need and I actually need plugin cards. So I'll digivolve and now I'll search. The inherit is good as well. When you use a option card with the cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -2000 DP, and these could scatter. So if you have the Renamon and if you have the Kyubimon and you use an option card, then you could give -2000 to one Digimon and then the other -2 to another Digimon, which could work, especially if you're gonna swing over Digimon. Last but not least, 3 of the Yokomon, which I actually really like. This one has an on play, and when digivolving, give 1 of your Digimon blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Very important here. So you digivolve 2 from Renamon, and the name of this card Digimon is also treated as Kyubimon close bracket. So this is going to work when you warp from your trash with the new Rika. I love because it's also a play cost of 4, so if I do brick for some reason, then I'll just play it for 4. Even if I'm at 3, the opponent's at 1, and I have a blocker. And now the inherit, when you use an option card costs 2 or more, give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 2000 DP, which is also good. And we're only running 9 champions to make space for those pesky plug-in cards. 4 of the new Taomon, they finally gave her a barrier, which it's not the best thing in the world, but since their DP is so low, it's good for it. Because now you could swing, and if you get deleted, well, just trash a card from your security stack. When digivolving, you may use one option card that has plugin in its name, or is yellow from your hand with the reduced cost of 2. Ideally, most of the plugin cards do cost 2 besides the one that costs 5. So you could end up digivolving, swinging, or if it passes your turn, play one of the green plugins that allow you to digivolve for free, and then you could go into Sakuyamon. The inherit is actually really cool. If this Digimon has Sakuyamon in its name, you may use one option card that has plugin in its name or is yellow from your hand with the cost reduced by 2. So now every time you attack, you can use a plugin, which is actually very nice. These Sakuyamons usually only let you play plugins from their when digivolving, not when you attack. 2 of the EX2 Taomons. This one, when you digivolve, lets you play a Rika. The inherit is when you use an option card, give minus 2000 DP to a Digimon for the turn. The reason I only run 2 is because sometimes if you have the Renamon and your opponent left you at 3, you have the champion to digivolve, but you can't play the Rika. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just digivolve and then I'll play the Rika, right? And then leaves them at 1. But then if they leave you, let's say at 1 or at 2, you don't want to move up, they leave you at 1. You digivolve for 2, you pass it, you can't trigger the when digivolving and play a Rika. Now when it's your turn again, you move up, you go for 3, and now you can play the Rika. Pretty much the only reason why. Then 2 of the Taomon, however you say it. Digivolve 3 from Kyubimon. The name of this card, Digimon, is also treated as Taomon. On play and when digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less to the hand. And then the inherit is when you use an option card, give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 2000 DP for the turn. I love this because you want to be as disruptive as you can because your deck isn't as fast as some meta decks. So if you end up digivolving, now you could bounce a XVmon, which they would DNA next turn, but then they'll just play it in end of turn DNA anyway. But you get what I'm saying. You could bounce things back to the hand. This ideally gets set up. It helps you set up when you have the ace, the Sakuyamon ace, because now you can just blast into it when they do attack after you bounce something. But we don't get nice things, so we're not going to get that till December. So there's that. But I do love this just for removal purposes. And it's also considered a Taomon, so like I said, it works for the Rika when you are gonna DNA. New Sakuyamon. I absolutely love this card. So we get Barrier. You can digivolve finally over Sakuyamon for a play cost of 1. When digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6000 DP for the turn. And then, from your hand, and without paying the cost, you may use one 5 cost or lower option card that has plugin in its name or is yellow. Your turn once per turn. When you use an option card with the cost of 2 or more until the end of your opponent's turn, their effects can't return this Digimon to the hand or deck. I love that because you also have Barrier, so they can't swing over it and they can't bounce it. They can't bounce it to the security, and they can't DP, give it minus DP, and de-digivolve it. So there's still ways around it, but at least it's getting better. 3 of the EX2 Sakuyamon, which we'll talk about, but I might do 4 and 2 because I really do love just having the Barrier and not having to worry about dying when I swing. EX2 Sakuyamon, unsuspend one of your Digimon, and for each Tamer you have in play, return one option card with plugin from your trash to your hand. And then your turn, when you use an option card with the cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. So a reason I might leave this Sakuyamon still at 3 is because of the new Taomon here. You end up swinging, you have a Rika that lets you play a plugin, play another one. So now you can give something minus 6k because the your turn is not once per turn. It's nice. It is nice. I also just love the fact that with this one you could swing since it has Barrier. Then you can digivolve, and then you can unsuspend, and then you can swing again. but it just sucks if you swing at security and you die. Yeah. So you could also try playing the Kyubimon that gives your opponent security minus 2000 DP. 2 of the Maid mode. When digivolving, you may use one option card with plug-in in the same order that's yellow and a cost of 5 from less from your hand without meeting its requirements. Place the option card used on top of the security stack instead of placing it on the trash. When attacking, you may digivolve into a card with Sakuyamon in its name for a cost of 1, ignoring its evil requirements. So basically you would swing, digivolve into the EX2, unsuspend, and now you can swing again. Or you could swing and go into the new Sakuyamon, give yourself barrier to protect yourself from dying. Give something -6 when you digivolve as well, and use an option card and give yourself protection. So pretty good overall. Now we would probably do the Ace Sakuyamon moving 2 and playing these 2, but you know, we don't get nice things yet. We're not gonna get them till December. Talk about the Rikas. 2 of the new Rikas for BT17. This one, if your opponent has a Digimon, you gain 1 memory at the start of your main phase. So this is after you move up. Main effect: by placing this Tamer, 1 Kyubimon and Taomon from the trash under one of your Renamon, you get to warp, but you pay 4. But if you digivolve from this effect, you could also return 1 option card from the trash to your hand, which is actually really nice. It just sucks that it's a play cost of 4, so you would need the old Rika with the new Rika, because the old Rika is a memory setter, and that one will give you 1 memory. So now when you warp, you would go to 0, maintaining your turn. So a memory setter, and then when you attack with the Kyubimon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon, or Renamon, you can suspend a Rika, and then you're able to play a plugin for free from your hand. So really cool. If you are limited on space, or you want space to add other things, you can actually cut one of these Rika, and this is fine because I was playing this and it was good enough because there's a lot of searching going on, but I just wanted to have more just so I could be greedy with the plugins and play a lot of plugins. All right, I was dreading to record all this video all over again. My throat's giving out. 1 offensive plugin A, just to be aggressive. It just sucks if you're playing it with the EX2, 4 Sakuyamon, because you could die. Security attack +1. Security effect: reveal cards, add 1 Tamer, and then the rest go back to the bottom of your deck. These plugins, if they're in security, they'll always go back to your hand for the most part. 1 high speed plugin D gives you jamming and unblockable. Very good for the EX4 Sakuyamon. It's EX4, right? EX2 Sakuyamon. Security effect: draw 1, then add this card to your hand. 1 defense plugin C. This one gives you blocker, reboot, and you can't be deleted by your opponent's effects. The security effect: reveal top 3 cards of your deck. You may play a Digimon card with a cost of 4, which I just kind of thought of. You can even play the Yokomon. Oh, play cost 4. There you go. Now you got a blocker. And then add this card to your hand. Ideally, you want to play this when you do have the Maid mode, because now you could kind of recycle it. 1 reinforcement plugin O, right? Those are all letters. This one gives you 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn, which I like because what if you want to swing over something? Yeah, you can give minus DP reduction, but there's cards that are like 16k. Can be 16k. Or their alterns bumps them to 14, and now you'll clash if you give the minus DP reduction. Anyway, I like this because then the security effect as well, you gain a memory, and then it goes to your hand. So if they're at 0, and the Maid mode, put this card there, and they forget for some reason, swing over it, gain a memory, goes to your hand. Now it passes turn, and now that possibly saved your life. 2 of the plugin S. This one, when it is played, you get to draw 1, so you always draw 1. So I remember I would play this to draw 1 and see if it's a level 6, and then I'll digivolve right from my hand. But if you don't, then you know you're SOL. At least you draw a card. Well, after you draw, you may digivolve 1 of your Digimon into a Digimon card in your hand that can digivolve for a digivolution cost of 3 or less without paying its digivolution cost. Be mindful that if you end up using it and you already have a Sakuyamon on the board, if you have another Taomon, then let's say this one uses it, you can digivolve the Taomon to another Sakuyamon. It doesn't have to be this one because it was used. So there's that. Security effect, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card among them, and then add this to your hand. Last but not least, one of my favorite ones, which I kind of want to bump up to 3, but space, is the yellow pause plugin P, and also I only have one and I'm too lazy to print proxies, so I'm gonna have to buy some. Let's talk about what this one does. While you have a Tamer, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. I don't know why I read that. They all say that, by the way. Main effect, until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6000 DP, and that Digimon's when digivolving effects don't activate, which is awesome. Unless they DNA, like I said, then they become new Digimon, but if they're level 5s going into level 6, or if let's say you use this and then you attack, and then they're gonna blast to a, level 6, that when digivolving effects don't work, which also almost always involves them deleting your Digimon, then there you go. But this is also with the new Sakuyamon, if you use it, you give minus 6 when you digivolve. You play this one, that's minus 12,000 DP. All these inherits that give you minus 2, it starts to climb up to 14, 16, etc. Told you my voice was giving out. So possibly adding 3 of these. Man, this deck is very fun, and it needs more. It needs a little more oomph, really fun. Let me know what you guys are playing. Let me know what decks you guys want to see. I have a whole list of decks that I'm gonna play, which I guess I can show you, or deck profiles that I'm gonna do. So they're coming. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.